Oh, dude, we even got where I was sitting down at the right time. Welcome back to Dumb Jocks with Mike and Mike. We're going to do some NFL free agents for, what day are we at? We're at the end of May, almost June. I almost said July.
Training camps are finishing up right now.
OTAs.
Yeah, training camps in a couple of weeks.
I was going to say, no, OTAs. Everything's voluntary.
Haven't fully started working yet. It's only 5 o'clock.
It's all right. Well, the big news, we'll start off strong and we'll work our way down, I think.
All right. Well,
DeAndre Hopkins got released.
The elephant in the room is DeAndre Hopkins.
Whoa. He ain't that big, all right?
I mean, as far as this discussion goes, though, he's very tall. You and I, we talked about it a little bit back right after the Super Bowl before we started the draft of teams that should trade for him, and I think I still have the same 5 teams I mentioned then. Cleveland, the Patriots, the Bills, the Giants, and I think the Packers was my 5th team. I think those are the 5 that make sense.
Definitely 5 that makes sense.
I've seen Kansas City a lot. I don't see the fit in Kansas City. I don't see the need in Kansas City.
I don't think it's either of those things. I think it's just to have another body who can catch. I don't think it's necessarily that they need him. I don't think that he necessarily fits the system that they run or anything. I just think that, hey, let's just give him another guy to throw at. We got, why can't we? Why not? Somebody who at some point, if they need it, can take the deep ball, take coverage off of Kelsey, open this field, spread it, whatever it may be. And I think that's his big thing about people thinking about the Chiefs. And he came out with his 5 quarterback list of the 5 quarterbacks he would play or wants to play with, or his 5 best quarterbacks.
When did this happen?
Whatever.
I didn't see this.
It was in an interview. Yeah. I forget where. But
I assume it was the Mahomes, Rodgers, Burrow, Allen, Hurts.
Mahomes. So he didn't do Mahomes, Hurts, Allen, and then Mahomes, Hurts, Allen. Those are the big 3. Who's Chargers quarterback? Herbert. I'm not going to think of the 4th right now.
Lamar Jackson.
It probably was Lamar.
According to Yahoo.
I was going to say, I know it wasn't Burrows because he also knows there's no
room.
There's literally no room on that roster.
There's only one football.
He cannot fit on that roster and be, happy and okay with it, I think. But in all honesty, I think out of the 5 teams you putting everything and all the stuff around there off of his list, I think the biggest one is Josh Allen. I think if he ends up a Bill, that helps them tremendously because you're the one who's been complaining for a while. They only have 1 receiver.
Yeah, it's
they get a second one. They're a lot more dangerous.
It's Gabe Davis had the 1 playoff game, and then everybody kind of anointed him, the best 2 receiver in the league. And I was like, no, he's not a great separator. He doesn't have great hands. He's a decent route runner. But I think ideally he's a number 3, and I think Hopkins is the guy that if Diggs is hurt for a game or Diggs can't get the separation he usually does, Hopkins can go for 170 yards in a game.
Yeah, no, and I think DeAndre Hopkins, as old or however you want to look at him right now, I think he still has the ability to take over a game if he needs to and wants. And I think that's the bigger one is that he wants.
He only played 9 games last season because of the suspension and the injury. Yeah. I think I don't remember the total number of yards he had, but I did the math earlier. It goes out to 1,300 yards over a full season. No, and he's not going to go to a team with worse quarterback play than he had in Arizona.
Oh,
because Kyler Murray was gone by then. He's not downgrading quarterbacks.
Well, that's why I don't think he was going to be there this year. I don't think he could deal with that. At freaking 30? It would be freaking ridiculous. Yeah. But I think he ends up in the AFC. As terrible as or as broad as that is, it's still half the league.
I like the NFC. We talk about it. The NFC's a 3-team race right now. Seattle doesn't need receivers. The 49ers, I could see it, but I don't think that's going to happen. And the Eagles is not going to happen.
Yeah, the Eagles.
I could see Detroit getting involved because of suspension there for Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
I doubt Green Bay gets involved.
The Lions would do it right now. I don't think it's worth it for their long-term shit that they're. honestly building towards it, actually on a path for
I
once.
doubt Green Bay gets involved, especially with a first-year starter. The only team that jumps out to me is the Giants. But I also don't look at the Giants as the team, the front office, the New England roots there. I don't think they're a team that's going to want to spend that big on a receiver that's 30.
I don't think he'd want to end up there. A lot of question marks.
Maybe the Rams? They've never been afraid to make the bold move.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel like they're getting to the point where they're going to be in cap jail, as fake as it is, for just a couple of years because they sell out. Which, fine with me. Sold out for a Super Bowl. Can't be mad.
They got it. You saw it for the ring and you don't get it, then it's an issue.
No, yeah.
Jarvis Landry, another guy been around. He's only 30. I thought he was older. I think that's a guy can kind of go in any offense and put up numbers and function, but I don't think he's kind of a team-changing weapon at this stage in his career.
I think he falls more into the low end 2, high end 3.
Yeah, I think back to New Orleans probably makes the most sense for him.
Oh yeah, the most sense for him.
Back to New Orleans, maybe I'm gonna throw like a Tennessee or a Jacksonville out there. Guy come in, work the middle of the field, get 3-4 catches a game.
Tennessee could use him. I think I could see him on a couple of different teams, but I also now think that a lot of it's because just Buffalo, for instance, I could see Jarvis Landry working on Buffalo with Diggs, but why in the world would they do that?
If they're spending money on receivers, I think Hopkins is
right. So that's what I'm saying. I think to an extent, that's where I'm at with Landry. That some of the teams that could actually use him as a good number 2 are all super down.
I've also seen the Ravens thrown out for these two guys. Why? How many receivers does this team need to invest in?
14.
That's what it feels like. So somebody explain it to me. They only got one football. They already got 2 running backs. They got a quarterback that's going to run the ball, and they've already got 3 receivers they've invested in.
I know, dude.
What the hell are they? What are they fitting a 4th guy?
They're doing as much as they can,
and
so nobody can complain about Lamar Jackson not having weapons. Lamar has every weapon. They just want every weapon on the roster. But
that's the only names at receiver that are jumping out
to
me that can still.
I'm looking at other
Kenny Golladay. What a fall from grace.
Well, and that's what he's the person. He needs to go somewhere to revive his career for instance,
that's a guy to me makes more sense for Kansas City because he's not a guy that's going to demand top money. And he's not a guy.
Yeah, he would just.
And he's a guy going in for 1 year to revive his career. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be there for 2 or 3 years to chase a ring.
Well, you're not wrong.
Tight ends.
That's what I was looking
at. Nothing really.
I was going to say, this was a deep tight end draft class. Yeah. There was a lot drafted that I feel like a lot of these older guys, I think the youngest one on this list, I got a couple really young ones now, but people that I recognize that have been in the league, they're at least 27.
Yeah. Youngest one that's had, a recognizable name is Jesse James at 28. Kyle Rudolph at 30, Shaheen 28, Mercedes Lewis 39.
No, and then you still got, Kyle Rudolph out there at 33, Cameron Brate at 31. I'm a little interested in Max Williams at 29. I don't feel like he got anything really in Arizona, and I feel like somebody who could actually use the tight end in their system could actually get something out of him. Not anything crazy, but could be a very usable tight end in this league.
Running back, another guy kind of hanging over the whole position group here is Ezekiel Elliott for, I guess, different but also the same reasons as DeAndre Hopkins, as it's a player that is very well respected, has accomplished a lot, But also, I don't know that he can take the idea that he's going to go to a team and probably be their third running back.
Well, I was going to say, to me, he looks like he reminds me of Cam Newton when Cam Newton's been going around now. Like, you're so respected that like you can't. I don't know that number two.
I don't know that Elliott ever had the fall off of that a Cam Newton did, where Cam Newton had seasons where he was starting. You know, I think back to his year with the Patriots. He started, but he was clearly not even the best option. At no point was he the best quarterback in any game.
I just mean, I think I look at Zeke like that at the moment of you have a lot, you had a lot, you did a lot, you're very respected in the league, but whatever team you go to, you're kind of a committee guy.
You know, and I mean, For a guy who played on the Cowboys, nobody really hates Ezekiel Elliott. Well, I certainly don't. Do you?
Just look at, I don't hate him, but like I'm just like straight up just looking at who's left. Can make a pretty crazy three-headed monster with Elliott, Fournette, and Hunt.
Yeah, I mean,
like with the three that are left, like if they three were the committee of a team, that is a very good committee. But would they be okay with being a committee, this and that, and not get you're not going to get the touches you want?
I would also throw Royce Freeman in over Leonard Fournette. I think he's just more explosive than Fournette at this point.
Yeah. I was literally just kind of reading the top three names that I had. Now is like those are all people who when they were hot and in their prime, man, they were dominating some of this league.
All right, Mike, and I guess we'll talk about this weird quarterback group. Carson Wentz feels like he's been around forever. He's only 30.
See, I had the other. I can't believe he's already 30.
I
get it. I've put it all together, going through his career in my head again. It's just a matter of like I thought he was still around the 28, 29 range. Like I know it's only a year or two off, but like 30 is a different mark than being under 30. You know.
Teddy Bridgewater is also 30. I feel like he's also been around forever. Joe Flacco at 38.
He better not be on the team.
He was on the team last year.
Yeah, I know.
One of the only true franchise quarterbacks that ever just stuck around. Just stuck around because he just loved the game.
They really should have had Aaron. Their Jets should have kept Flacco and had Rodgers Flacco.
Question is, who do you start when you get to the big games?
That's the welcome to why it'd be so much more interesting.
I don't see a spot for Carson.
I'm just picturing that, Ross. No. I'm just picturing Rodgers.
Kansas City.
Yeah, right. They get the wild card or whatever, and they have to go into Kansas City. They get through a half, and Aaron Rodgers thrown 4 picks. They look like shit, and they're like, "Oh fuck it, I guess we got to put in Flacco."
The Mad Men did it.
Oh, that would be funny to me. But like the quarterbacks, like I just feel like with the older guys that are out there now, there's just not as much room on rosters and stuff.
I don't even see. I think Carson Wentz is a guy. I don't think he's done.
I don't think he's done.
But I don't see a team that's going to make a move for him right now. I think first quarterback that goes down.
But see, this is, and we were talking about it a little bit at some point. But like my thing with Carson Wentz, like he could easily be the best top backup in the league on a team, and if anything happens to your starter, you're fine. Like you don't have to feel as worried about it, or it's not like. Lack of a better example, it's not like when Mac Jones got hurt and we're jumping into Bailey Zappi as a rookie quarterback. Like you'll have somebody who's been around in the league and experienced it that understands where he's at in the moment. And like he technically never won it himself or won anything, but like he's been around at points and been through.
Which is something
shit.
I hate people talking about. That Eagles team was going to win whether Carson Wentz played or whether I played.
That's why they won with Nick Foles.
That Eagles team was going to win whether Carson Wentz got hurt or not.
But that's just like that's how I feel about the quarterbacks. I feel like there's nothing.
Carson Wentz is a fascinating case study, though.
Left. Like I'm interested, like see where Nick Foles falls. Like he ends up usually being a fucking backup somewhere. Might not be anymore. The guy's all the way up to 34.
34. I mean, I
But,
see him
like-
being a backup. I could see him being a backup to a team with a young starter. I could see a Green Bay, a Carolina making.
No, well, that's what I'm
Making
saying. I
the
could
move.
see him as a backup on a bunch of teams like that. It's just a matter of.
I just can't pin
I
down
think
which
they're
one makes the most
Yeah, I was gonna
sense.
say they're probably gonna wait through training camp,
Yeah.
see how some of their arms look.
Getting back to Carson Wentz, though, fascinating case study to me. The guy who can do all the hard things right. Not a throw I don't think he could make. He cannot do the easy things. He can't make the 5-yard check down look easy, and he can't be friends with all his teammates,
Well, welcome
or at least
to
be friendly with all his teammates.
why you have to do
Fascinating case study.
You have to do the easier things first before you get to
Yeah.
the hard ones, because you got to have something to build off of and something to get believed in. And he doesn't have it right now. I can tell you that.
Not a whole lot of linemen that have
Offensive.
starting offensive linemen, that have starting
Yeah,
upside
no,
left.
I think
Jawan
it's
James
Jawan,
may be the
right?
only name jumping out at me here. Taylor Lewan.
Oh, because they just have it as a letter. These guys confusing the shit out of me.
I'm not seeing anybody else here that really. Rodney Hudson, I guess. Older player, but has been a very good center for a long time.
Yeah, I feel like lineman is one you're not going to find a lot.
Did anybody that people still think can play has already been taken.
Sorry, I lost my list there.
That's all right.
I was thinking, I was like,
I mean,
Cameron
let's-
Flemings, there's no way he's still out here. Shit.
I believe he signed with the Bears, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he re-signed with Denver.
One of those teams with blue and orange is their colors.
But I was sitting there, I was like getting so lost.
Well, now we got a very interesting group of corners to me. Byron Jones, indications initially where he was going to retire. We've been told since he's not retired, but he hasn't signed anywhere, so who knows? Marcus Peters was a top 10 cornerback most of last season. I think he battled an ankle or a knee injury late. Hasn't been signed. William Jackson was hurt all of last season. Casey Hayward.
He's getting up there.
Which one?
Casey Hayward, he's
Yeah.
getting up there.
33.
He's been around.
And Mike's favorite player, Eli Apple.
He'll end up as a third or slot corner somewhere.
Cameron Dantzler is still listed here. I'm pretty sure he signed with the Steelers, actually.
I'm very interested in Jones and Peters. Those are the two that stand out. Like, Ronald Darby ain't bad, but, like, I feel like he's probably past his best moments.
I lied. The Steelers signed Chandon Sullivan. These Vikings cornerbacks are confusing me.
Yeah, I end up, like, Byron Jones, I feel like he didn't do as much last
He
year.
never quite lived up to the contract he got.
Well,
when
so that's
Dallas
what I was
traded him
going to
to
say. I
Miami.
think it's the contract thing, and like I still remember him doing the combine and all the
Yeah.
numbers he put up there, and like I still think he has the athleticism to be in the league and be a fine corner. I just don't think he's the number one interceptions, really lock down or like take a side out kind of guy. But like I think he can make the play on the ball when it's around, and make the
Yeah.
tackle and get stuff done.
Justin Coleman is 30. I thought he was actually older. It feels like he's another guy been around forever. But I mean, a very good slot corner. Does not have the physicality or the size to play outside. But for a team that I think already has a deep cornerback room, I could see him fitting in very well with, say, a Philadelphia.
Yeah, I could see it I could see him jumping in on a couple of teams and
Marcus
filling either
Peters
that
is
slot
probably-
role or like at least fight it.
Marcus Peters to me is the most interesting one here.
I can't believe he's
Because
still
I
out
can't
here.
believe he's still out there. Because I still think this guy can be a top 10 corner this year, and I wouldn't bat an eye at it.
Well, so what I'm thinking is because of when he tore an ACL 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I just think although he had a fine season last year, still performed like a top corner and everything. I think because of that, I assume he's looking for money, and I don't
Yeah.
think teams are willing to give him as much as
I mean,
he's looking for.
he's 30. He may be looking for that one last payday.
Right. Well, so that's where It's like this is your
'Cause
moment. To
unless
get
my
paid.
memory's-
'Cause, like you look at Casey Hayward, there's no way somebody should be signing him to something.
Unless
like that
my
if they ain't that
memory
high.
is failing me, he left Kansas City with some off-field issues, and he never quite got the big payday
Yeah,
that maybe he had earned.
yeah. And I do think that's the big thing with him. But like I could see him improving a lot of teams as being. You'd have to put him at number 2. And like I think he could be a good number 2, and he could even be looked at as a number 1 by the end of the season.
So it looks like his deal with the Ravens paid him about $30 million, which is, that's a lot of money. But when you consider what other top corners were making in this neighborhood, Jalen Ramsey made almost that exact number in one season.
Yeah, and I think that's where he really is.
I think that's where he is. He wants the payday. He did earn, and then never quite got. No big safeties left really that excite me.
I was just say it's just one Johnson.
Oh, John Johnson.
John Johnson.
I thought he had already. I think he's already re-signed.
Oh,
I thought he went back to Cleveland.
I haven't seen him anywhere yet. But he was the only safety that stood out to me personally. Otherwise, like they're all just older guys that. I can't. Carl Joseph is already 29.
I believe he's also on the Steelers.
Yeah. Well. Either way, I just couldn't believe how old he already was.
Yeah.
But Johnson, even if he re-signs with Cleveland, I think that's a good spot for him. I think if not, he ends up. I could see him ending up in one of the LAs, especially fucking the Chargers.
I don't see him going back to the Rams. I could see the Chargers though.
Chargers could work well for him. That's all I really have on him. Like
Ronnie Harrison, I remember when he was a few years ago. I believe it was 2018. Coming out, he was a 4th-round pick. I thought he was going to be one of the steals of the entire draft, and never quite worked out with the Jaguars. Never quite had a chance in Cleveland to start.
Yeah.
That's all I'm seeing at safety. Is there another name you see?
No, I'm like
a lot of veteran guys.
Yeah, you got a
Duron
lot of,
Harmon.
I was gonna say Duron Harmon stands out to me, but I'm like Duron Harmon's been around for a while. Like I could see, I don't know how much more he has left.
Tony Jefferson, Mateus Farley, those guys will sign, 1-year deal, probably veteran minimums to go be rotational pieces. Nasir Adderley, I'm fairly certain he actually retired.
Wouldn't be surprised. See now, all the big guys are just like.
Yes.
We gotta be ready for a rotation. Like Ndamukong Suh for D tackles is still out here. Like man's 36 though. Like if he's actually playing and gonna keep doing what he does, he ain't getting as many snaps as he was. He needs to rotate. Oh man, I get it now. I see, said the blind man.
Really?
Well, you're talking about J.J. Watt?
Yes.
So man should definitely retire. I think he's had a career.
I think he already has. They just haven't taken him off of this yet.
But you're talking about the little rumors of him to the Steelers. You could have all 3 of them.
Oh, we could. We'd have to bring Derek Watt
You'd
back.
have to bring him back as the fullback, but you could have all 3 of them.
I don't know. Cam Hayward's brother's already the fullback.
That's fine, dude. You tell me you can't run with 2 fullbacks?
I don't
be weird.
I'm not
It'd definitely be weird.
That's something the Steelers would do, but I don't see the logic in it.
Them 2 and Najee Harris, dude. Let's just run that set.
Yep.
Just block.
Well, J.J. Watt line up as the guard.
Yeah, there we go. See, now we're on board. TJ is the one that stays on defense. We're not moving you.
Yeah, well, you're too important. We can't move you. Other D linemen available: Michael Brockers, Then Dominic Sue, Linval Joseph. All of them, I think, can still play. I don't think I see any.
I just think they're no longer
No
every
longer
snap,
3 down
like it's
players.
very like in Dominic Sue, like they're running the ball, put the big man in to stop them. You know what I mean? Because like I look at the D end and I think the other way. You got like Frank Clark, who's almost 30, where he's good and everything, but he's been playing a lot. He's been around the
He's been around for a while.
there.
I believe he was drafted when he was 20.
Yeah, like I feel like he's been in the league forever.
Feels like he's been around forever too.
And like I could see him on a lot of teams and improving that team and making them better. But it also has to be in a sense of, all right, it's a passing down, third and whatever. You put him in, you know what I mean? Like he's in there to get to the quarterback.
And then
he's not in there to play everything.
We've got 2 edge rushers here that are maybe the most fascinating players in this whole free agency process. What's left of it to me, Yannick Ngakoue and Jadeveon Clowney, for very different reasons.
The other one, I knew Ngakoue.
And Ngakoue is a guy who's been a productive player on I think every team in the league.
I think Ngakoue is fantastic.
Like he's been around.
Who could play anywhere.
He's the Jaguars, the Vikings, the Ravens, the Colts, the Raiders, and I'm sure I've missed a couple.
Like, yeah.
Been a productive player on every team he's been on. And yet nobody wants to sign him. I know he is 28. That is old for that position.
I get that it's old for that position, but like I just think too, like it ends up I think the real key with like the people left now, and like I'm surprised like him and Peters, like they shouldn't be around still.
Yeah.
Like, they should have already been on a team before the draft and figured out. But like now that they're there, it's basically gonna like terrible way to put it, but like they're gonna be waiting for training camp and see who falls, who gets hurt. Yeah. What team decides, oh, shit, I actually need this position. I need to go get this. And, like, that's where they're at. Because, like, I think Ngakoue, and, like, as terrible as it is, like, it might be a great situation for him to wait just because he's going to be able to wait and see what team actually needs him. And then he's like, oh, all right, dude, I can go step into that. Like, he's been everywhere. You know what I mean? He's been around. So, like, it's him just going to a new team and going in isn't going to be something that's new or scary to him. Yeah. He's just going to go at it. He ain't scared of it. Like, he's just going to go and kill it.
I don't know what fits there are. I could see the Broncos for either of them.
Well, so I'm trying to think of an actual fit for Clowney because, like, I think he's the one who needs who kind of needs to fit somewhere and can't just get thrown there.
Jadeveon Clowney is a very odd player. Was a number 1 draft pick. Never quite lived up to it. Was a very good player.
Yeah,
but never lived up
to number 1.
To number 1, especially when you consider the other players on the board in that draft. Some of them at that very position. You know, Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald was also in that draft. But he's 30. He was not productive last year with Cleveland. You know, I went back and watched there some games. It feels like he's not even on the field.
No, and like I think that's the biggest thing for me with Jadeveon Clowney of like you kind of know what you're getting a real good killer out there, but it ain't consistent. It's not all the time.
He's gonna have a 5-sack game for you, and then he's gonna have a 7-week stretch of no sacks.
Well, and I think that's the thing too. I think once he gets going, he gets going.
Once he gets going, he's one of the best players at his position.
If every game in the first minute or so, or in like the first half, however, first quarter, whatever you want to put on it, if he could get to the quarterback and knock him down, not even get a sack or anything, just pressure him and knock him down. He'll get to the quarterback. He will find his way there, and he'll get there. But if you hold him, he's the player that kind of just going to give in and give up kind of deal of, I'm going to be here, I'm going to kind of move you and be in the way, but I'm not going to do enough to get by you or anything because it hasn't done anything for me all day.
I mean, to me, all the personalities, not that Jadeveon Clowney's the off-field character, but he is a big personality. I'll put all the personalities on the Jets. Let's see how this goes.
That'd be fun.
To me, I'm for just pure entertainment value. Put them with the Jets.
Let's just say screw it.
But I mean, the Jets already have the log jam of edge rushers. They've got like 2 first-rounders that are going to play this year.
Well, because they have a nasty fucking roster right
Right.
now. Their defense is phenomenal. I don't even care about the offense.
What a weird team the Jets are. That's conversation for another day.
What do you mean, dude? What a weird organization, dude. For fucking decades. Got any other names? Because I lost my list. It won't load. I've lost it. I clicked it. It's just giving me nothing. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Deion Jones, another guy, coming out of Cleveland. I don't know what teams would be interested. I think that is a guy.
It's probably honestly also that they're coming out of Cleveland.
I got other names who didn't come out of Cleveland, though. But I think he's a guy who's got to go to a competitive team. I don't think that's a guy that a rebuilding team can take on. I don't think.
No, 100%.
I think, just looking at it right now, I think that's a move I would like for the Broncos.
I could see it in like they're basically they're in a weird spot because they're definitely in win now mode, but also you see what happened last year and you don't think
they're a team in win now mode, but nobody knows if they can actually win 3 games in a row, let alone
a fucking play
let alone go on a run.
But I think that's my biggest thing with
Miles Jack comes off my Steelers. Played well last year, just was not worth the money they paid him.
Yeah, I think that injury is catching up to him.
Injuries catching up to him. He's a guy
had him fall and drop and everything, and I think now you see why that all happened.
Yeah.
He was fucking disgusting on the Jags when they had him, the plays he was making and how he moved. But you knew that injury concern, and what are we now? 4 or 5 years later, you really see it. And you're like, oh, damn.
But yeah, I believe the injury was 4 years ago. I believe 3.5 years ago is when he had the surgery on it, and he was just never the same player after. But I mean, I think he's a guy. I watched him last year. I think he can still play, and I think any defense would be lucky to have him, especially when you consider at this point he's going for a bargain contract. Could see that move for. The Giants is a team that instantly jumps out to me.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Giants aren't bad.
Giants are the team that jumps out. I could see the Titans making a move. Kind of the two that I think of.
Yeah, and I think those are the two that are kind of not rebuilding necessarily.
They're not rebuilding, but they're not quite.
Yeah, they're not quite there. That it's still going to take them a year or two to get to that mark.
No real very good.
Oh, dude, but we missed Drew Estrada.
No offense to Drew Estrada, but I've never heard of you.
I picked the name that I never heard of either. When I said that, it makes you feel any better. You want to know why you never heard of him?
Why is that?
He was a receiver on the Houston Texans.
My condolences, Mr. Estrada. You never had a chance.
But I think a lot of it's crazy because a lot of these ones that you still look at and I go, he can play, and they're just
a lot of names here.
You have to wait for other things to happen in the league for them to really.
Logan Ryan was really good last year with Tampa.
Oh, fantastic! But I also personally look at him and I look at the age and I go, if anything, I'm only signing him to a 1 year.
I mean,
which
he also
means depending on he's either getting a 1 year on a good team or a real shitty team.
He also had that pick 6 at Gillette Stadium, and I'm forever grateful for him for that.
I have a whole story on that one.
Let's hear it.
Oh, as sad as that moment was, I bet
that moment was glorious.
I bet for a pick 6 to happen
that
in
moment
that
was
game.
Glorious.
I went from all right, Brady, you could do this, and I remember before the game started, I bet for a pick 6 to happen during the game.
Really?
Yep, I thought we would be the ones with the pick 6. But then, no, we get to the final drive. I'm sitting there waiting for Brady to make the final march, win the game, throws a pick 6, and the mix of emotions of such sadness and then realizing that I won $500 was weird. It was a difficult moment. we'll go from seeing that to being so sad and then being like, oh damn, I did just win $500 because of it. And like it was the last play, it was basically the last play of the game. Like otherwise I was gonna lose. I think it was like $50, not even. It was probably $10. But yeah, that's my nice story about that one. That one I remember. Oh, I can picture that whole play in my head. Go through the read, see what he saw, and he throws it, and Logan Ryan goes, "Oh, motherfucker, that's mine."
Ball was tipped before he even got it.
I know, and he was, "Oh, motherfucker, that's mine," and just took it. As soon as he saw like I want to talk about something else. I want to get off that.
One of my all-time favorite plays in the history of football. No other names jumping out to me.
I don't think there's any big names. Like Kareem Hunt's just gotten, to me, lumped in with those other. I think you need to figure out where Ezekiel Elliott ends up first before you sign Kareem Hunt.
I don't disagree.
Like I don't disagree with that, but Kareem Hunt will probably take less money.
Kareem Hunt will take less money. I also think Kareem Hunt's a guy who can right now tell you, yeah, I am a number 2, number 3 running back.
Yes, I think he knows his role in the league now. And like maybe not even knows. He kind of just got thrown into it and put there by his own shit. But like he's a very high-end number 2 running back. He can break. He can't break it off like his counterpart was doing. But he can still get those runs. But that was our remaining free agents.
Taylor Lewan. How's this dude still available? I thought this dude was going to go for like $50 million.
I do know that name.
Tackle. He's on the Titans.
Oh, isn't he? Is he the one isn't he 35?
33.
Oh, that's not too bad.
I'll
take a 33-year-old guy still. I thought he was 30. I was like 35.
I'd love that move. I'd love that move for my Steelers now, especially with Broderick Jones now after the draft. I'd love that tackle duo for a couple of years.
Yeah, it'd only be a couple. Who's your other tackle? Do you even know?
Broderick Jones.
Yeah, no, the other one.
Oh, Dan Moore.
Okay, thank you. I didn't think you didn't know, but you repeating the same guy. I was like, I know that one. You just said got drafted. I know that guy. Thank you for joining us in Dumb Jocks with our nice little free agent recap of the month of May. See who's remaining, see who's left. Thank you all and have a great night.